and welcome back to the Kyle's Korner podcast. This will be episode 7. I'm your host, Kyle, and I'm here with a new guest today. Finally, we don't have Nick or Brian, the most annoying people in the world. We have a good old work buddy. He's a Jurassic Park enthusiast, probably the most knowledgeable Jurassic Park person I know.
I wouldn't say that.
And his name is Chris.
Hi, everybody. I'm brand new here on the show. I'm excited to be here with Kyle talking about Jurassic Park series and then the Jurassic World series as well.
Yep, that is the topic today. Chris will be discussing the differences between Jurassic Park and Jurassic World. Mm-hmm. So, Chris, you're also a very big fan of classical music and like game music and movie music.
Yeah, you could say that. Yeah.
You are, Chris. Yeah. You can't deny you are.
I'm not denying anything.
So Chris really enjoys this classical music. You like pause there for a second so I check it.
Okay.
So, and I would say Jurassic Park has a pretty iconic theme to it.
That theme was written by John Williams, who actually had his big break writing lower budget films, Western called The Cowboy and the Princess. Originally it was called so it was originally called The Cowboys and the Princess, and then was later renamed to just The Cowboys, and he got his big break doing the music for that, and I'd suggest looking it up because the music is actually pretty interesting.
And then he moved on to more notable stuff such as Star Wars, Harry Potter, Indiana Jones.
Yeah. Indiana Jones is
well known. Did he do Inception? Was that Hans Zimmer?
Hans Zimmer did Inception.
Okay, he didn't do Inception. And then he also did Jurassic Park. He do Jurassic World?
No, Michael Giacchino did Jurassic World music, but he was tributed with like the main themes because they reference it back and forth.
So
in
they
movies.
Copied some of the entrance or something, and added his own take onto it.
Yep.
Was that for both of them or just the first Jurassic World?
For both of them. Michael Giacchino came up with the original soundtrack score, but at the end, like during the credits, and then at the beginning during the credits, the intro sequence, they copied John Williams' theme.
Michael Giacchino. I've heard of him before.
Michael Giacchino is pretty into the film industry too, writing music scores, and then also
he did Rogue One, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay, that's where I remember from.
He also wrote music for video games like the Medal of Honor series, and then a couple others.
Does Medal of Honor still exist?
Yeah, it's really old, but yeah, they keep coming out with new like segments, and it's all evolving in the the online community. But yeah, they're still existent, and he is really notable for the Medal of Honor games.
Medal of Honor games. Mm-hmm. Those were really good games back in the day.
Yeah,
before
those were
their
really
PS1
intense.
graphics became obsolete in like 2 years.
Yep, I remember the first one I had was Medal of Honor Allied Assault, and I always remember
the themes from it.
Yeah, the themes, and then the Medal of Honor Airborne, which was a pretty good one too.
So in both movies, we have pretty influential composers as well as musical directors in each movies.
Yep, absolutely.
But I would arguably say, Chris, that Jurassic Park, the original 3 movies, are way better than the new Jurassic World movies.
I don't want to say yes or no to that because I can see the differences. Of course, it being older films, like the graphics and the animation quality wasn't the best. Like earlier, we were talking about the blip on the end of the first movie.
Well, I mean, it is like the first wide usage of CGI in the 90s.
Yeah, it's early usage.
But I mean, it still looks pretty good for the 2019s. It still looks pretty.
Yeah, I actually was just watching it the first Jurassic Park the other day, and it was nostalgic about how bad the animation was, but. It was good times. I agree.
Did you like the Ian Malcolm laugh?
Yeah, absolutely.
But the difference is, Chris, that they used dolls and they actually made like a life-size T-Rex robotic model to actually represent the CGI model. So they like did movement and stuff for the robotic model, and then they like animated it for the CGI model so it looked more realistic and stuff.
Mm-hmm. More fluid and
more like it looks better, I'd say, than the newer CGI models.
Yeah,
it's also the lighting, because in the first scene, you see the T-Rex in, like, the dark, raining. It's raining out, it's also dark. So it really hides a lot of flaws in the CGI because they darkened all the lights down.
Yeah, the setting really changed. It was during the hurricane when it hit in the movie, so they could get away with really bad editing and stuff like that.
Yeah, so they could just hide movements. Mm-hmm. And then I think they really didn't show the T-Rex after that much. Not in like daylight. Besides the ending, I don't remember the T-Rex.
Yeah, when they were trying to escape the main complex building, because they were being chased by the velociraptors were hunting throughout the building. It's like especially during the kitchen scene with the two kids. But they were running away, and as they were cornered, like at the main entrance with Dr. Allen and Sarah and Dr. Ian Malcolm and
the old dude,
John Hammond and the kids. When they were cornered in the main entrance, like out of nowhere, the T-Rex shows up and starts ripping the velociraptors apart, and that's how they made their big entrance.
So they really didn't show the T-Rex all that much in that movie.
Not a lot. There was one scene also when Dr. Grant and the kids were running through the fields, the outer perimeter fence, and the T-Rex was chasing the Gallimimus.
She really remembers all the dinosaur names.
Yeah, yep. Mm-hmm.
But I would say, like, all the dinosaurs aren't very realistic, or what modern archaeologists would say are realistic. Yeah. They theorize a lot of the dinosaurs had feathers.
It was before they really got in depth about using technology and science and, like, a little bit of biology to figure out what the dinosaurs actually looked like. Like, nowadays, what did they find on New Zealand? And it was kind of a long time ago, but they found
wasn't it like skin or something?
Yeah, they found like it was well preserved skin and it had feathers on it. So they after they found it, they went back and looked at all the dinosaurs that they had theorized about what they looked like, and
they just added feathers to everything.
They added a lot of feathers, and they added some like short fur, like
I've seen a lot of dinosaurs with, like fur, because velociraptors are the size of chickens.
Puny, and the Utah raptors were actually the size of humans,
and that's what Steven Spielberg's inspiration was.
Yeah,
was the Utah raptors.
Yeah, what the filmmakers did was to give Spielberg something to base his like velociraptor, because he wanted them to be like larger, so a fiercer creature that the humans would have to conflict with.
Like the size of humans.
Yeah, but what they did is they take... do you remember the copies? The small little dinosaurs?
Oh yeah, the copies?
Yeah, that's basically what the size of a velociraptor is. So they, enlarged it like 100 times or something like that, so it could give it a ferocious kind of look and like masculinity to it. But during it was really interesting. When they were filming the first one, what they actually happened is
did they discover?
They discovered. Yeah, I was trying to think of the geologists or archaeologists. They found the Utah raptor in parts of Nevada and Utah, and it was what Steven Spielberg was kind of imagining because it fit. Its natural bone structure was as large as what the theoretical velociraptor was, and it was stronger. They was presumed to be stronger, and it was presumed to be a little bit slower, but a little bit, more bulky.
Well, I mean, it also does look like a bigger velociraptor too. It's got the same like bone structure, same appendable toe. What's it called? The claw?
The claw, yeah.
Where it clicks during the movie, it's like...
Yeah, click, click, click. Uh-huh.
Click, click, click.
It's, like, especially in the kitchen scene, where...
Yeah, where it just keeps hitting the floor, it's like...
where it jumps up on the table, the stainless steel tables, and it clicks on the table, and it echoes throughout the whole room. I think there's a scene like that in the newer Jurassic World films.
I don't remember any of that.
Yeah, where they're in the mansion...
Oh, so you're talking about the newest one?
Yeah, the newest film. Yeah, when what is it called? The
Indoraptor
is running and hunting down the little girl's name. I can't remember the little girl.
Penny. We'll call her Clone 1. Spoiler.
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 Yeah. As it was hunting down Clone 1 in the newer film, it has a couple scenes like that where it does the claw tapping. Oh, also when they were in the museum part of the mansion where it has all those...
Oh, he's got all the
the different eras, the periods.
Yeah, different periods of dinosaurs.
When
Blue?
Yeah, well, Blue wasn't in that scene yet, but I can't remember any of the characters' names.
What's Chris Pratt's guy? I don't know.
Chris Pratt.
See, I would say this: the characters also in the first one are way more recognizable than the Jurassic World characters.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even remember half their names.
Yeah, absolutely.
And the kids don't even reappear for the second one. They're not even in the second one.
No, they're not. They're not
even mentioned or anything.
Well, in the beginning part of the second, the Lost World, when John Hammond is fighting the lawyers over the rights to the island, the lawsuit, yep, you briefly see the kids when Dr. Malcolm goes to see John Hammond.
Yeah, because they're in the witness stand or something like that.
Yeah.
Or they're by him in the fence. I can't remember. It's
they're
something
in
like that.
They're in the law office, and, you know, he was summoned by John Hammond, and Dr. Malcolm sees the kids walking out as he goes to see John Hammond in his maybe it was a law office, maybe it was his mansion. I can't. Well, it's hard to tell because they always have the lawyers. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
What was I gonna say? Oh, that was probably when we were talking about the kitchen scene. I would say that's probably the scariest scene out of all the Jurassic Parks in Jurassic World. Wouldn't you agree?
I agree. It's a suspense.
It's a lot of tension.
A lot of tension, a lot of suspense for sure. There's a couple scenes though. In the newer movie, Jurassic World
2 or 1?
2. When the two boys are running from the...
There's boys in the...
Oh, maybe it was the first one. Sorry, Jurassic World 1, where they're going through the park and they sneak out and then they get chased by the Indominus Rex. They're in the ball, yeah. And they're running away from the Indominus Rex and...
They jump off.
They jump off the cliff.
And then the dinosaur goes like right behind them.
Almost gets, that's always a suspenseful moment for me. I'm like, I know they're going to get away, but just jump, damn it. You know, and then they jump.
Another one's when the phone buzzes on the ball. And then he comes back and attacks it because they're
he's trying to get the phone.
He's like, and then drags his claw across it as soon as it vibrates because it makes the same noise as the Ankylosaurus, like the roars, and he recognizes it.
So he pierces the ball.
Yeah, he goes like that with his finger,
spins it. Yep. And he spins it and he like picks it up with his teeth, and then he starts dropping it on the ground.
And then it opens the bomb when they all escape, and then they start running, and that's where Chris is talking about the waterfall scene.
Yeah,
where it's like a second behind it, and if he would have been like right behind them, he would have killed them. He would have eaten them instantly.
Yeah, that's exactly it. Or another scene. Oh, you know, I always remember the second movie is always a pretty thriller for me when both the InGen people and then the people that John Hammond sent to recover and catalog the dinosaurs on the second island, Isla Sorna. Isla Sorna was the second island. So they banded together after they ran into trouble. They the people John Hammond sent destroyed the camp because they were going to try and ship all the dinosaurs back to San Diego Zoo. Yep. And so they had banded forces, and they were trying to get out of there. So they went to one of the nearby
communications
facilities.
But they looked at the map, and there's a raptor's nest near.
There was the thermal imaging showed the raptor nest, and they had to go through the tall grass.
It was like the tall grass is like up to their head, so you can only see their heads.
It was over their heads, so they can't even see the.
But I think we, like as the viewer, we saw.
As the viewer, you saw like you got an overhead view, and they're all tracking through the fields, and you see the lines coming in.
Yeah, you see like lines coming in the grass
because you can. Yeah,
but you can't fully see the raptors. It's just like a black line, and then you see the guys like fall or something.
Yeah,
and you're like,
just
help me, and like, And I think only John Hammond's group makes that. I think every other person dies, and all the InGen people die in that scene.
No, because
except the guy with the hat.
The guy with the shotgun, because he neutralizes the T-Rex, and they put the T-Rex on the boat, and the boat crashes into the harbor after the T-Rex and the baby escape, and then they eat all the crew members. Mm-hmm. So there's no one left, and it crashes into the port, and then it gets loose again. Uh-huh. And then actually, I think It's hard to tell exactly what killed the crew member, because remember the bigger T-Rex was on the boat and sedated, yeah. And then the crew that Hammond sent infiltrated San Diego Zoo before or after it crashed into the harbor, but the baby T-Rex was in the San Diego Zoo, so they had to go to the zoo to recover the baby T-Rex and bring it back to the boat. So it's hard to tell what exactly killed.
They didn't really say. They just said the crew's gone.
It was just the crew is dead. In my mind, I figured maybe they captured a few velociraptors, and the velociraptors
jumped ship.
Killed escaped from their bindings and killed the crew, and then jumped ship before it got too far away from the island. And that's my take on what happened on the boat.
Maybe it could be the Aerodactyls from the third movie or something. Was Isla Sorna the same island in this third movie, or is that different?
No, Isla Nublar.
The first one.
The Isla Nublar is the first island, and then Isla Sorna was the second island. Isla Sonar is where they did development of...
And to replace if any of them died.
Yeah, it was like the research facility, basically, and then Isla Nublar was here's the finished product island.
Oh, yeah, because the first scene in the second one is the little girl getting eaten by the compies.
Yep, the compies. Yeah,
she
feeds them the hot dog.
Yeah, she gives them the hot dog and they just spit it out.
Her. Yep. So the Velociraptor scene when they're banded together is the suspense for me in the second movie. The third movie,
they really didn't have that much suspense.
Yeah, it was all kind of plotted. Or here's one where they're either there's two scenes I could say. Or maybe even three. The first one is where they finally get to the island and they're calling out for the sun on the loudspeaker.
Don't do that.
And then the Spinosaurus comes through the trees and eats all the guys with the big guns.
Which I don't know how they didn't shoot anything. They didn't even use their guns at all. They just get eaten instantly.
You hear one of the scenes. You hear there's gunshots being fired, but it doesn't do anything.
Yeah, I don't remember hearing that. I don't remember hearing any gunshots in the movie.
It's after they land, after Dr. Grant gets knocked out, and he has the dream of the raptor.
Alan,
wake up!
And the raptor's mouth in that, it's like two things. It's like it opens and says Alan, wake up, and then it closes.
Yeah,
it doesn't continuously open like someone's talking. It just opens.
That was one of the CGI things. I think.
It's terrible.
The bad edit,
I thought it was a puppet or
works.
something.
Huh?
I thought it was like a puppet head, just some guy going with his hand.
It could have been, but the point being is, after he wakes up and he hears the family calling for the son on the loudspeaker, he gets out of the plane and he goes,
he's like, "Don't do that!
Don't do that!" And then you immediately hear the roar from the Spinosaurus, and then you hear gunshots because the Cooper and the other guy were going to kill.
I don't remember their names. Chris.
Yeah, I know.
I just called the bald guy, the black guy, and the guy who dies instantly.
So they're shooting at the Spinosaurus, but either they miss or it doesn't affect him, and so he kills them. And the suspenseful moment for the first one for the third movie is when they're trying to take off and they hit the Spinosaurus and the plane crashes back down.
And they all survive somehow.
Yeah, they all miraculously survive, but then the Spinosaurus catches up and it starts ravaging the plane and eating all the people as they're trying to escape.
Which, I mean, it doesn't really make much sense in real life that the Spinosaurus would go to something that could metal objects.
Theoretically could have been a long ways too, and so it instantly tracked it through the miles.
Woods.
Yeah,
they really don't
it
show
went
it.
up and then it went back down into the trees. So it theoretically could have been a longer distance.
Well, I mean, it is plot though, so they have to.
It is.
I mean, they didn't have to because they could just have the plane try almost blowing up or something, instead of a different kind of suspense.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Well, I mean, also, the Spinosaurus, I believe, in real life, was it ate more like fish and aquatic stuff. Or that's what they theorized.
It was kind of a river dweller.
Yeah, I think it was also smaller in real life, and they, beefed it up.
Yeah, just like the first Velociraptors.
Just like the first Velociraptors to make it more intimidating.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And it also lived in wetlands too. It didn't live in...
It was swamps and not
jungles.
The jungle, the humid climate that they have the third movie plotted in. The the second suspenseful.
I like when the Ring, where it's like it ate his cell phone, or ate the guy who had the cell phone in the movie Spinosaurus, and then he's like, "Dad, it's your phone. I heard your phone." He's like, "Cooper,
I don't have it."
Cooper had the phone when I was gone.
Yep.
And then you just see behind it's just staying there too. It's not even like going after them. It just stands there for like a minute, and then they have to go over the fence. I think the kid gets like electrocuted. Or is that the first one where he gets electrocuted?
That's the first one where he gets electrocuted.
Because
they turn on the security fence, because remember they had to turn it off because Dennis had hot wired and bugged.
Nadry.
Yeah, Dennis Nadry. He bugged the whole island so he could sneak in and steal the DNA, embryos.
Dino DNA.
And so that's where the first kid gets fried on the fence.
Oh yeah, and then the third ones are like, you think they're safe because they went over the fence.
And then it just crashes through the fence.
And they're like,
so that leads into the second suspenseful part of the movie where they're going through the bird cage and the pterodactyls. Yeah, remember that? The big dome.
And they're going across the...
Yeah, and it's all foggy, so you can't see anything. And so the pterodactyls start separating the group, and that was
I think they took the kid first.
Yeah, and picked up the kid. The first one across was the mom, and she made it across, and she hollers back, "Okay, it's safe." And so the kid goes across. And then...
I thought the dad goes across them. Or someone goes after him. Or before him. It's the mom and then someone else. No,
it's the mom and Dr. Grant. Mom and Dr. Grant get across.
Okay, honey, you can go through now.
Yep, and then the kid goes across. The kid gets picked up by the pterodactyl.
And then, whatever the guy's name is, I always thought when I was younger he was just the kid from the first movie. Because it made sense that he didn't want to follow in Dr. Grant's profession. Because he was all about archaeology. But it was just some random kid no one cared about. Yep. Which I thought was like a missed opportunity.
Part of the plot was that the uncle and the kid from that family, they went on a vacation together. And
I thought it was like a stepdad. Wasn't it?
Yeah, it was your stepdad. Yeah, it was the stepdad. You're right.
Stepdads. How dare they?
Well...
Yeah, that was like a boyfriend or something.
It was the mom's new boyfriend. The stepdad was... The guy with the phone.
This is the old guy, dad. That was his original dad.
I don't think so.
Yeah, because they were broken up. They were divorced.
Okay.
And they were all mad at each other in the beginning, and then they fell in love again at the end. It's kind of a shitty plot line, subplot line.
Subplot line.
It was a subplot line.
There's a reason it was a subplot line.
She was so annoying too. I would have divorced her instantly.
I wouldn't even gotten together with her. Damn.
Yeah, but. The guy dies or something. They don't show how the boyfriend dies. He's a skeleton that comes down from the parachute.
I assume... my assumption is that maybe he died from getting caught in the trees.
Or impact.
Or on impact, yeah.
Because if you think he got eaten by a dinosaur, his bones would be gone too.
On the ground. Well, remember when they're going... They find the parasail. And when they pull in the parasail... The body comes down and it's all gooey skeleton. My theory is that he died on impact and then the kid escaped.
Yeah, and they went to his bunker and did his piss traps.
No, remember
the turnover truck?
Yeah, it was the truck. They hid in the truck. And then
yeah, but he also did the piss thing where he ran around collecting T-Rex pee.
T-Rex pee, and he Dr. Grant pulls it off the shelf and goes, "What's this?" And
you don't want to know what that is.
You don't want to know what that is. Is T-Rex pee?
Is this T-Rex urine? He's impressed or something.
Yeah, he's like, you don't want to know how I got it.
He keeps the small ones away, but the big one always comes around. I think that movie also featured, what was it? What's the thing with the two horns? It's like a Carnotaurus. Is that
the Carnotaur? Yeah, the Carnotaurus.
Yeah. So the Carnotaurus original.
They're on the boat, and then the phone rings. So they have to go. They have to go search through the dino poop.
Yeah.
To find the phone. And the Carnotaur is looking at him like, why are you digging through poop?
And then just walks away. But I believe the Carnotaurus was actually in the first Jurassic Park book. It was actually supposed to be in the movie, but they just got rid of it. And then they put it in the third one instead. I think the river scene was also supposed to be it was also in the book. In the original book. Because I watched a lot of comparisons between the original movie and the... in the book, because the book's always usually got more content. Usually it's different, because they want to make the plot better, or make, you don't need all the stuff that's in a book, so they usually edit out
the parts that are extra, yeah.
Too extra that you really don't need. for the movie. So I think they added like a lot of dinosaurs that originally were supposed to be in the first one. They just added them to the second and third one.
Yeah, I agree with that. Like the pterodactyls, that would have been an interesting one to the first into the first movie. But remember, they also talked about the Dilophosaurus and the Triceratops in the first movie on the tour. And then when Dennis was escaping with the DNA, and he crashes into the thing, and it rolls down the hill, and he gets stuck. So he tries to winch the Jeep out of the mud, and the Dilophosaurus kills Dennis.
Well, like spits at him first.
Yeah, he spits at it.
Like,
the last
shoot.
Yeah, he's like, you stupid, want the stick, and he throws the stick, and the dinosaur just kind of turns back, and I'm like, I don't want the stick.
And then shoots the black stuff in his eye. He's like,
that's hard, yeah. Yeah, and he runs away. He runs back up to the Jeep, and then there was another one in the Jeep. And then the last scene that you see of Dennis...
Isn't it in the Jeep? Like, and then
yeah, it was in the Jeep.
Stuff?
Yeah, and so it starts killing him, and that's the last scene. The Jeep's kind of rocking back and forth, like he's screaming and everything. That's the last scene you see of Dennis.
So was that other company, was that InGen? The guy who was getting the stuff for, the DNA for, was that InGen in the first movie? What company was that? I never understood that. What the company was.
It was a competitor company. Remember at the Dachshund, at the beginning... Dennis meets Dachshund in like Cuba or whatever.
Yeah.
And he's like, Dachshund, we got a Dachshund here. And he goes, see, no one cares. He was from a competitive company. And so his buyout was to try and get the DNA and give them the DNA so they could start making their own park.
See, I was confused where InGen came in. Cause
InGen was with Hammond at the first movie. InGen was working with Hammond.
Okay, because they come into like major antagonists into Jurassic World.
Yeah, InGen tries to retake the island, but remember...
they start shooting everything. They just use real guns and start like capping everything in the head. They do. Do you remember it's that thing like flying away and the guy's like, I got it, and just shoots him in the head?
Yep. Or that was part of the Jurassic World movies where they're flying towards...
Yeah, in like a helicopter.
And the helicopter, he pulls up a saw and he shoots the pterodactyl. Yeah, that was InGen, because after John Hammond forfeited the first island, I can't remember...
Did he send it over? Did he lose his partnership or something?
He lost his partnership with InGen because he stopped sponsoring them. Because remember, in the first movie... When he's talking with Sarah says you can't have a second island because remember all the people that went to the island to like vouch for the island.
Yeah,
they all decided to say no because it was insecure and all the stuff that had happened.
All the people died.
Yeah, all the people died. So Hammond decided to pull the plug on the park, and then in the newer movie, I can't remember the name of the billionaire.
That dies in the plane crash.
Yeah, not in the plane crash, the helicopter crash.
Helicopter crash.
But he sponsored it. He was part of
InGen, right? He said he wanted to fulfill John Hammond's dream.
He wanted to fulfill John Hammond's dream.
This is the end of the first part of the Jurassic Park versus Jurassic World Kyle's Korner podcast. I'd like to thank everyone for coming out and come back for a second one. Crack open a cold one. Have a good rest of your day, and goodbye.